own age because you get to look at them and say, well, we still recognize ourselves, right?
No, did not recognize myself in that picture. I think I was trying to figure out, I was probably 18, maybe 19, maybe.
Looked about 10.
Looked about 10, yeah, looked about 10. But it is weird when you get that put in front of you and you kind of look at it and then you see a picture of yourself now and it's like, wow, yeah, I guess time did fly by.
Yeah.
But I do relate more to that. I don't, in my mind, that time, it's still, you know, I still feel young like that. I guess what I'm trying to say.
It's amazing to think, to hold on to the feelings. And, you know, you're a band that for me has always led with emotion. The songs, a good song for me is always something that makes me feel something emotionally. And I know that when you talk about bands, you know, you were inspired in so many ways by Bowie because emotionally kind of always evolving. And then I think of all the artists that we play on K-Rock, right? The Killers, and Nine Inch Nails, and Muse, and all these bands, Coldplay, that have mentioned you are their inspiration. Depeche Mode is the inspiration for these artists and these bands. And I always wonder, when you hear that from a band and you don't like the band, do you go, oh no, that's not good about us? Or do you say, wow, that's so cool that we played a part in that band and then becoming that band?
I think we're always quite flattered.
Yeah,
across the board, it's sort of, if you inspire anybody to make music or to, you know, try it for themselves or in any way, shape or form, I mean, we must be doing something good. And as you know, because that was the same for us. There's, like you talked about Bowie, and there's this inspiration to want to join that club. You know.
Do you ever hear yourselves in other bands and think to yourself either, oh, I wish we had done that, or that sounds like something we could have? I hear us in that.
They've stolen our sound and they've done it better. No, we don't really. Bands who say they're inspired by us, yeah, it's very flattering. But I don't often think that they really sound that much like us.
No, I think as well, that's an interesting point, because I think quite often as well, they're not trying to sound like us. It's more like the fact that we kind of were very much do it yourself. We kind of built our own thing, and we, like, with the help of like people like you, got our music out there, you know, in a very sort of alternative way. And it wasn't the norm. It's never been normal. Depeche Mode has never been a kind of band that you could put into a category. And also we, you know, with the help of others, people like Daniel Miller, you know, and different producers and engineers over the years, that we created something that has become, you know, its own thing. And I think other bands and artists are inspired by that idea as well, that like, yeah, you've got to go your own way. You'll be told to do this and do that and go in this direction, and you'll have a hit if you do this and you do that. We never really, that wasn't something that we ever played into.
We're chatting today on K-Rock because you have a new album that'll be out in about a month, and you have a new tour that has been selling very well. In fact, new dates just added to Los Angeles because you sold out the Forum like that pretty quickly. Now you got new shows added December 15th and 17th at the Crypto.com arena. So obviously things are doing well. When you put a new show or tour on the market, do you get anxious and go, I wonder, are we going to sell? Do you know it's going to sell out right away? Do you still ask for an update? How quickly did it sell out? Or do you not care about that at all?
Of course we care about it. No, but we were told, you know, very quickly by our manager how well things were going, and it's incredible. You know, the tickets are just flying, and the single is just getting an amazing response too. And maybe it's come along at a fortunate time in our career. You know, fortunate for us that we've released something that's probably more commercial than anything we've released in a long time. But it's come along at the right time after the spike of the Enjoy the Silence TikTok thing and The Last of Us, Never Let Me Down Again. Maybe all of that coming together has really culminated in this big explosion.
And you left out the most important one, which is the Cocaine Bear. I mean, you guys are in the Cocaine Bear movie, right?
I just heard about that.
What, are we in that?
Yeah.
Oh, you're learning about this for the first time now?
I kind of intrigued by this film. I want to see this.
It's let me tell you, I saw it. It's an amazing movie. But when your song hit, it was like the perfect. I always believe music can do this, and it's one of the magical things. It just can't get enough at a time when the bear's got a face full of cocaine, and it was a beautiful moment, really magical.
That song has been used in so many forms, for so many different metaphors, but. Yeah, the bear with his face in a bowl of cocaine or whatever that is, that's gotta take the biscuit.
That's the one. That's the one. So now everyone, when they wonder what can they not get enough of? Is it love? Is it food? Is it sex? It's a bear with cocaine. Now we know.
Well, we also know why we're suddenly doing well again. It's obviously all to do with that.
Yeah, well, it's weird. This happens sometimes throughout. If you last the test of time, and we kind of, I guess, have. For a rock and roll band or any kind of whatever you want to, however you want to describe that, I think at certain points something aligns. I don't know what that is, like things, and it just right now, I think Martin and I are quite fortunate, especially as we've been through a lot in the last year, and this is still a thing that we're going through, having lost Fletch. Things change and something is shifting, and things for some reason that you don't really know. You don't really know what's going to happen next. So, but there are some weird, strange things happening.
Well, when we found out about Fletch, it was a very sad day here at K-Rock as well. Richard Blade joined us immediately so we could talk about some of his fond memories and so many stories with you guys all together. And was there a moment when you got the sad news that you thought that was the end of Depeche Mode? Did you feel like this is an obligation or responsibility now to keep the band going, to keep kind of the spirit of Fletch alive as you kind of made? I know this album was kind of written prematurely to his death, but how did it feel personally for you guys?
Well, obviously, it was really tough, but we had a schedule already booked that Andy was due to join us with and start recording the album, and we decided that it was better for us to carry on with that schedule because we could focus on music, something that we were both passionate about, and something that we could get lost in. And I think that really helped us at that time to get over Andy's loss.
And it's important. I think when you lose someone, like it's you don't really. It's something you learn to deal with. You don't really get over it, and I mean, my experience of losing people that are close to you. And Fletch is just someone that we've spent the best part of our adult lives with, day in, day out, sometimes for years together at any particular time. That has changed forever. I think we're still learning how to come to terms with that.
What do you think?
The music, as with anything in life, has always helped to and always is part of that change and that acceptance and that journey of life. Music is something that is very important to Martin and I, and has been throughout all of our lives.
The Memento Mori, the album, which comes out March 24th, I believe, officially, the single is getting a lot of love, as you said, on K-Rock, on the charts, etc. How do you think Fletch would feel about the album? Like, if it one sentence review, you think he would like it?
Some of it. He might have something to say about all the songs being about death.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, he was the band's biggest fan.
Yeah.
You know, I think honestly, out of all of us, he was the one who loved being in the band the most.
Yeah.
And you know, would be its biggest advocate wherever he went.
When you
So ultimately, he would have come to terms with this record, no matter what. He would have loved it.
He would definitely have had something to say about the title. He would definitely have something to say about a lot of the songs leaning towards death and mortality, and but there are some there's song, for instance, like Ghost Again. I'm pretty sure that from the off and from the get-go, just like I was when I first heard this song when Martin sent it to me as a demo, like I knew that this song was going to sort of be something very special for this record, and I know that Fletch would have been the same with that as well, and excited about. He would have been extremely excited right now about the response that we're receiving from the song.
In the video for Ghost Again, you two are playing chess. In real life, if you two were to sit down and play chess, who would win?
We're not. Neither of us are very good at it.
No,
They'd both lose somehow.
But probably Martin would win. He'd somehow he'd outwit me.
but you've played more than me recently.
I
haven't played for ages. So.
Yeah, I play my son Jimmy. One of my sons, Jimmy. He's a great chess player. I have played. I've never won against him. I've only played him a couple of times. I've played my wife Jennifer once, and I won, and I will never play her again.
Smart.
It's I have that, you know. It's mine.
Yeah, that's how you know you're really smart. Not if you play chess, but if you don't play the person again who beats you, and it's your wife. That's the answer right there. As you head out on the new tour, is there anything that's going to be different this time around? Obviously the songs, but then you've got ones that, such a catalog that people expect things. You have to go into each show and you say, well, we have this new stuff, that how we're feeling in the moment, but we have all these things that have meant so much to our fans over the years. Is there a pressure when putting together a set list to say, how do we include the stuff that we know is wanted? Obviously, you know the hits, but then there's some that aren't going to make it every night.
I think that there's certain songs that you just know that they're going to be there. So you have those, and you know, you try and make that work, and you want to make it interesting. For us, it's really interesting to come from a place where we've just made a new record together, and we want that to be something that is important to the way the set list feels, the atmosphere, the way it changes. So we've been in rehearsals for a while, and we've pretty much got down what we want to do. And we have some alternates in place of certain songs, but you know, once you get into a rhythm and a sequencing of how you want it to play out, you know, and you start to, you know, Anton Corbin is, you know, doing some films and stuff for certain things, and there's a whole production that goes on with that. So, you know, especially at the sort of size venues that we're playing, everything, you get kind of locked into a set. Can we change some of the songs yes, I try and make sure that that's possible. And also, you don't want, you know, you're playing to people that have been listening to music for all these years. They have their favorites. You try and put stuff in there that is going to, of course, please everybody, but there will definitely be some fans out there that'll be like, oh, they didn't do this one and they didn't do that one. And you've always got those train spotters, but like, you know, it's going to be a good show. I mean, it's feeling pretty good in rehearsals.
You can't please everybody. There'll be people saying, why aren't they playing more obscure songs?
Yeah,
right.
We get that. Right. And then you'll get people that will go, why did they play that weird song? And we don't want to hear that.
But then it's funny because now you get all these new young fans from the HBO and the Cocaine Bear, et cetera, that when you see a 12-year-old walking around wearing a Depeche Mode shirt, is that a strange feeling for you guys to think, wow, we performed in 1980, and here you are now just discovering this band for the first time? I actually heard someone at the end of your episode of HBO. They go, this new band is amazing. And I was like, what new band? And then I realized they were talking about Depeche Mode.
That's one of the really interesting things, and it's always been cool about Depeche Mode, and about, like, even on the last tour, we were amazed by, we have our fans and we have people that have been coming to our shows, for 40 years or something, but then there's also a whole new audience every time. I don't know if that's because it's generations of families where it's just they've been forced to listen to our music, or it is a new discoveries. You know, it's like once in a while something like this show happens, like The Last of Us, and a song comes, and I think the next day after that there was literally people. Yeah, there was, I know, on Twitter or whatever it is, you know, the most searches for, or Shazam for, who is this band? Like, I think at one point we were at the top of that search, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of it shows you the power of media.
Yeah, it's
and
amazing.
the way that, you know.
Well, listen, gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Dave Gahan, Martin Gore, Depeche Mode, a new album, a new tour. Hopefully, now that you're going to be in LA for almost the entire month of December, you can stop on by and hang out at K-Rock. We'd love to have you here. The relationship we've had together goes back some time, and it's always nice. When we have new Depeche Mode, we got the world premiere. It's an exciting day for us at the station, and the reaction from the fans and people that are just meeting you for the first time was just overwhelming. So thank you, as always, for the...
I have one question. Should
Sure.
we bring winter jackets? Because I hear that it's snowing there.